Luke 7, verse 36 through 50. And we'll read that in a minute. But I struggle for a title for this message. Still don't have one. But you remember, I think it was Abbott and Costello. They had this routine, who's on first. And I think that's going to be the title of this message, is who's on first. It's like it just wouldn't come together. And I was like, who's on first? And anyway, that's going to be the title of the message, is who's on first. I was kind of wondering if I should tell this or not, but it came to my mind several times, so I think I will, just because this message is about women, a little bit about women. And I remember, I don't know, it had to be 20 years ago. Peggy and I were on a trip in the Bahamas. Maybe you've been there, and if you have, you kind of know about the Bahamas. But we were, it's kind of like it's a beach community, and people just wear bathing suits and swimsuits and what's almost swimsuits and stuff like that. So we were, Peggy and I were at the beach area, and we were walking back up to the hotel. Well, on the way to the hotel, there was like a little ramp, and then there were a few stairs where you could, step up one, walk 3 feet, step up on another one. And then you get to the top, and there's just regular stairs. And they had crosswalks, people coming from over here and over there that would cut in there. Well, we were about halfway up, and a lady just turned in front, a woman, I don't know if she's a lady, but a woman just cut in front of us and was walking up the steps in front of us. And I'm not sure she had on a swimsuit. I mean, I wasn't checking real close, but I'm not sure. And I was just grinning because I could see Peggy was embarrassed, And so I was just grinning. She was like poking me. And I said, I didn't do anything. I'm just walking with you. But she was like, this is your fault. And so she said, that's just downright sinful. And I said, it really is. But we walk by faith, not by sight. So I'm telling you, she almost knocked me into the bushes. And she would hit me in the stomach. It was like, bam, And she said, that's not funny. And, but, I mean, that was, I don't know who that lady was. I don't know that I know people that dress like that, but I'm pretty sure there are. You don't, I know, Beth, you don't. I don't. But I mean, there are people that do. And, but she was a woman, and I'm reading, this came to my mind when I was reading this scripture. Well, anyway, in Luke chapter 7, there's this story about Jesus being invited to a Pharisee's house for a meal. And he accepted the invitation. And then we read about this woman that comes in. But does it seem like, I'm not talking about this church, but does it seem like that there's a void in Christianity today? Does it seem like it's almost dead? I mean, I'm not talking about like right now in this church, but just overall, does it seem like the excitement that should be there is not there? And what we see as excitement, it's really just entertainment and people bouncing around. You know what I'm talking about. That bothers me. I guess it's probably with everybody, but I just like what's real. And I like it to be real. You know, not just act like it's real. But anyway, I was reading about this woman, and it came to my mind that Jesus dealt with a lot of women like this. There was the woman in Samaria. He said, we need to go through Samaria today. So we must, because there's a woman over there. She was what they would call a half-breed. I said, she needs to be free. She needs to be delivered. And he stopped by the well. You know the story of the woman at the well, but that woman had had 5 husbands. Jesus knew about it, but he said, let's stop by there today. He saw her in her need and went to her. And then there was a woman taken in the very act of adultery. I mean, it wasn't just like somebody said, you know, she's a sinner. Jesus was there as they were getting ready to stone her because she was so bad, so ill-behaving, as you might say. She was caught in the act of adultery. Jesus said, no. And then at the end of that story, he said, woman, where are your accusers? Where are the ones who look down on you? Says, no, man. He said, neither do I condemn you. And then in this story we're going to read about, there's a woman that had 7 demons cast out of her. And she interrupted a very prominent dinner. And Jesus didn't rebuke her. He picked her out as an example. He said, that's the way it ought to be. Anyway, let's read that in Luke chapter 7, starting with verse 36. And one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with him. And he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisee which had invited him saw it, he spake within himself under his breath, this man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that touches him, for she is a sinner. And Jesus